Hello everybody and welcome back to our Sanctuary videos. I am here with Michelle Zadorchak and we are going to talk about the self model and how that is a vital part of the Sanctuary process. So Michelle, welcome.
Hello, Steve. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so tell me a little bit about what is self and why is it so important to Sanctuary and what we're trying to do here?
Okay, well, self is one of the tools that we're going to use internally when making decisions, but also how we're going to build treatment plans with our clients in the future using the framework of self.
Great. Well, I know, but let's take some others through the four parts of self, because self is so much is in our field is an acronym. So let's start with the S. What is the S and what is its significance to the self model?
Okay, Steve, let's talk about safety. So the S stands for safety. And within the idea of safety, we have four categories. We have physical safety, which means, is my body safe? Am I safe in my surroundings? We have psychological safety, which means, am I safe with my emotions? Can I adequately manage the emotions that I'm feeling? We have social safety, which means, am I safe with the people that I'm around? And then we also have ethical safety. Am I able to operate within my value system? So those four categories make up the S in self under safety.
Okay. And then let's talk a little bit about E. What is that?
E in the self model stands for emotions, and we really want to be able to identify all of the emotions surrounding any decision or change that we're making within the organization, within our departments, or if we're doing a self with a client, can they adequately define all of the feelings surrounding the situation at hand?
Okay. And then we have two more. So what is the L and how does that play into the self model?
Okay, well, L stands for loss, and with all change, any change, even good change, there's an associated loss with that. So we really want to be able to identify and acknowledge our losses. What does it mean to make this change? What are we giving up to make this change? And once we're able to really get clear and honest about the losses associated with a change, then it's easier to see and manage the emotions with that.
Okay. And all those three steps lead up to the final F. So tell us about that.
So the F in self stands for future, and which is our ultimate goal. Trauma lives in the past, so we want to make our way away from the trauma and adversity and the emotions attached to that trauma and adversity and make our way into the future. So what kind of what kind of outcomes are possible with this change that we're considering? Do we need to change our trajectory a little bit? Do we need to identify alternative solutions? Can we clearly see a vision and imagine what the future could be when we make this change?
Okay. I had the opportunity with someone else from the core team to go through a self with an issue that I was using. What are some of the benefits that you see to fully incorporating the self model into the Zeph Center's procedures and thinking?
Right. So some of the things that we get from doing a self is that we get transparency. We get to sit together as a group and speak honestly about how we feel, the losses associated with this change, and what we hope for the outcome to be. Instead of it going underground and becoming gossip or workplace drama, we get to say it out loud up front, and we all get to identify with everybody else's feelings and losses and safety concerns within any change that's being made. It also gives us a shared language. So when we're making decisions and we're doing treatment planning, everybody's going to have this language and be able to be organized in the decision-making process.
Well, Michelle, we already have a lot of existing tools to use in development of treatment plans. We have the depression screening, the PHQ-9, we have the DLA-20, various other tools and things that we bring with our own experience. But how can the self model help bring a positive outcome and help bring the client more into the development of their own treatment plan?
So I think the great thing about self when working with clients is that it offers us an opportunity to ask different questions than maybe we'd ask before, especially related to safety, and being able to really clarify and target what are safe decisions for our clients to make, but also to acknowledge loss. And any time that change occurs, there's a loss associated with it. So if you have a client who is giving up drugs and alcohol, there's a loss associated. If you have a client who has a diagnosis that includes psychosis and part of their treatment plan is for med compliance, there is a loss associated with them becoming med compliant and giving up the comfort of their psychosis. Just because it's not optimal functioning doesn't mean it's not comfortable and familiar for them. So being able to really allow them space to acknowledge the loss and talk about the feelings surrounding that loss gives them power to step into and create their own goals for the future instead of us just identifying that for them and what that looks like.
Great, Michelle. That's a very good overview of self. We both recognize this is a difficult concept to grasp, but with practice and with further teaching and understanding, we will get to where we need to go. So this is one of my favorite tools to use. So I'm looking forward to that. As always, friends watching, if you have any questions about the self model, you can reach out to Michelle or myself or anyone on the core team. You can find the list of all the core team members on the Sanctuary tab on the ZNet page. You can reach out to your supervisor. You can ask a peer and they can point you in the right directions. But Michelle, thank you very much for your time and sharing with us about the self model.
Thank you, Steve.